explorers, my name is Louis and I'll be your safari guide and driver. And folks, for your safety, please remain seated at all times with your hands and feet inside the monorail car. Parents, please make sure your children also remain seated at all times. And also, folks, for your safety, please make sure you also fasten your seatbelts. Major look. But in case of an emergency and you folks need to reach me, directly behind you there's an intercom. But as we cross the Bronx River, we're going to travel 7,000 miles into Asia. We'll be seeing animals from India to China, Cambodia, Nepal, Pakistan, and more. And interestingly enough, Asia is a continent with the largest number of deer species. It's also known for its deer diversity. And as we circle around, we're going to approach a large meadow. We'll see a large herd of deer and antelopes here in this area. And I don't see any, but we do see a large population of peafowls here at the Bronx Zoo. The males are called peacocks, the females are called peahens. Look directly below, you may see all these things that sort of look like sticks. Well, that's the plumage of the males. Once the mating season is over, the males lose that beautiful plumage. So you could say that the guys pretty much let themselves go once they get to 80s. But again, we have a large herd of deer and antelopes here, and what happens during the afternoon hours, they migrate to another meadow. So we'll be visiting that meadow shortly. So we'll see them there, but every once in a while you see one or two scragglers here. If I do see him, there was one here before, but I don't think he's here. But we're approaching these small buildings, and they represent an interesting WCS conservation story.
The Rhino.
Hi, farmers in Indonesia live closely with wild animals, like elephants, which we will see shortly. WCS field staff worked with local leaders and farmers in Indonesia to come up with the Crop Protection Unit. This unit created many different ways for farming to continue in close proximity of wild animals. One strategy was to soak ropes in chili powder and place them around the crops. Elephants do not like chili and leave the farms alone, allowing the farmer and the animals to share the habitat peacefully.
And we know that once an animal is extinct, it means they no longer exist. We may think perhaps of the dinosaurs, maybe the dodo bird. The next animal you're about to see, they were extinct in nature. They could only be found in zoos. So be on the lookout for Mongolian wild horses, also known as Chabelsky's horse. You're going to see one over here on the right. And as you approach our Mongolian wild horses, notice that there's some genetic differences between these horses and domestic horses. You're going to notice that these horses are stockier, they have shorter legs, they're also rocking a mohawk, which means they're missing the forelock that domestic horses have, and that's just a tuft of hair that runs down the horse's nose. We're going to see the rest of the herd on top of the hill. But because of successful breeding programs, these horses have actually been reintroduced into areas of China and the Mongolian steppes. And you're going to see them over here right on top of the hill. But as we approach our horses, here's an interesting story regarding the horses here at the Bronx Zoo.
I'm Jonathan Slatt, and I'm the Russia and Northeast Asia coordinator for the Wildlife Conservation Society. I believe that wildlife has a place on this earth. My job is to find practical solutions that allow people and wildlife to thrive together. Henry Przewalski's horse went extinct in the wild in the 1960s. On a recent trip to Kazakhstan, I thought about the ongoing and successful efforts in that country to bring these horses back to the Central Asian steppe. The world needs happy stories, to watch the impossible become possible, and to see hope restored. That's what's happening today with Henry Przewalski's horse.
And we see this vast area, you can see more of our horses here. But the Bronx Zoo received its first horses way back in 1902. Today we've had over 50 Mongolian wild horses born here. So you could say that our breeding program here at the Bronx Zoo is a success story. But as we leave our Mongolian wild horses behind, be on the lookout for the largest wild cattle on earth. They are known as Gowers. And these guys are impressive. Males can reach a weight of over 2,000 pounds, as much as a small car, 6 feet tall and 10 feet long. And because of their tremendous weight, size, and power, these big guys can pretty much fight off anything, even tigers. So hopefully, on the other side. Get it? See them on the other. Work with me, folks. But as we approach our Gowers, they're usually grazing all the way in the back. Here's an interesting story regarding the acquisition of our Gowers here at the Bronx Zoo.
Hi, I'm Dave, a wild animal keeper here in Wild Asia. When the Bronx Zoo received 2 female and 1 male Gower from the San Diego Zoo, it took a couple of introductions before all the animals were comfortable. But after a little bit of time, the 3 new animals fully integrated into the herd, and we have the family that you see today. A family group of Gower can consist of up to 40 individuals and is typically led by an older adult female called the matriarch. Since the 2 females and 1 male have been added to this family, there have been a number of offspring. This is important because Gower are considered to be a vulnerable species, so it's vital to maintain a healthy growing herd here at the zoo.
And there you can see the herd. We have quite a large population here. But please do not ask me how many Gowers we have here at the Bronx Zoo. I have no idea because I did not bring my calculator. Calculator. But as you leave my Gowers behind, you may notice quite a bit of noise coming directly behind you. If you take a quick peek, that is traffic coming from the Bronx River Parkway. The Bronx Zoo actually sits in the heart of a concrete jungle. And you may notice these wooden fences directly in front of you. All these fences had to be erected to minimize the noise coming from the Bronx River Parkway. Very, very important. Because the next animal you folks are about to see is an extremely solitary animal. It has stripes that provide such near perfect camouflage that sometimes trained wildlife experts in the field sometimes has difficulty spotting them in the wild. So be on the lookout for a beautiful and majestic Siberian tiger. And his name is Anakin. Not Skywalker, just Anakin. Okay, somebody spotted him before I did. Okay, so yeah, he's by the fence line. He's moving towards the right. There he goes in the back. Here at the Bronx Zoo, we have several tigers, but because they're solitary animal, we'll only have 1 tiger out at a time. But that's how perfectly he can blend into surroundings. I mean, sometimes you could be in here and you're literally on top of him and you won't see him. But he's towards the fence line, kind of moving towards the right. He may circle back. Of the 2 species of tigers we have here, the Malayan and the Siberian is the largest of the species. Anakin here is a beautiful Siberian male. And tigers hunt a wide variety of animals in the wild, but they prefer to hunt for wild pigs as well as medium-sized deer. And after a kill, a tiger typically will gorge himself on 40 pounds of meat in one sitting. 40 pounds of meat, the equivalent of you eating 160 Big Macs. But here's more about Gowers as we leave our tigers behind, gives you an idea of their impressive size. There they go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is the other side. Other side.
But this is the meadow I was describing earlier, folks. This is where our deer and antelopes migrate during the afternoon hours. You're going to see in the back, you're going to see the Barashinga deer. Barashinga means 12 tine in the Hindi language, and that's because the males have 12 to 14 points on their antlers. You're going to see another male by the fence line. And you're going to see a Bactrian deer directly below you. The light sand colored deer, that's a Bactrian deer, and he's a gorgeous male. Do you know how much it cost the Bronx Zoo to acquire that beautiful Bactrian male? Cost us $1. I got $1 million. But as we circle around, you're going to see a bamboo thicket directly in front of you very shortly. Be on the lookout for a small pig-like animal. It is known as the babarusa. Means pig deer in the Malay language. I like to keep things simple, so just think of Pumbaa. And once you pass this forested area, this bamboo area, you see a clearing. If I spot him, I'll point him out to you. He's directly below you, by the gate. And you're going to see a second one by the pool, kind of hiding behind the bushes. And folks, please, whatever you do, please do not call him a pig. Call him Mr. Pig. Folks, please make sure your children remain seated. Folks, please make sure your children remain for their safety. Thank you. But if you had a hard time spotting our Barbarossas, trust me, this next land animal you will not miss. The largest land mammal on Earth, our Asian elephant. Her name is Patty. And as you approach Patty, you may notice that massive tree trunk directly in front of you. Well, that's Patty's back clencher. Hey, Patty. Are we still good, Patty? How about giving Uncle Lou a kiss and a hug? Patty, we good? You still mad at me, Patty? Patty? I have a confession to make. I think Patty's a little mad with me. Now, wanna know the reasons why? I gave Patty her age. Never tell a woman her age. I'm sorry, Patty. Still love me? Patty's a little over 50 years old. She's up there in age. Average lifespan of an elephant is about 70 years. But Patty's taking well care of here at the Bronx Zoo. She's giving baths as well as pedicures. See how pretty her nails look? See you later, Patty. But as we leave Patty behind, be on the lookout for another large land mammal, our Indian rhino. Now her name is Penny, so make sure you say hello to Penny. Yep, she's in her mud wallow. Now I want everyone to do me a favor as we approach Penny. I want everyone to look at her face. You're going to notice some white markings on her face. We're going to talk about those white markings in a minute, but I want first everyone to be able to get a close look at her face. Hey, Penny, how you doing, sweetheart? Penny? You good? So did everyone get a chance to look at her face, see the white markings? Just give me a thumbs up if you did. Everyone good? Okay. We're going to talk about those white markings in a second. But contrary to popular opinion, rhinos are not armor-plated or bulletproof. Their skins are very delicate, they're very sensitive. Most of the time, or most of the day, Penny will spend her time in her mud wallow. Every once in a while, she'll come out, she'll graze. She'll spend most of her day in that mud wallow. The mud provides an excellent insulation or natural insulation against insect bites and sunburn. Now, the white markings, that's sunscreen. Our zookeepers have to apply sunscreen on her face. That's how delicate her skin is. And you're going to notice a second mud wallow here. Our rhinos have expanded this mud wallow since the late 70s. So for them, this is their personal jacuzzi. Unfortunately, rhinos are highly endangered. They're killed simply for their horns. Some have the false idea that the horns of the rhino have special magical medicinal properties. They're killed simply for their horns. But here's a fun fact about rhinos. I see we have some mommies on tour. So for you mommies on tour, moms, did you know that a female rhino is pregnant for 60 months? Almost a year and a half. But there's an upside to it. Once the mama rhino gives birth, she does not have to support the baby rhino to the age of 18. Baby rhinos will typically stay with their mothers in the wild from 2 to 3 years, and they'll typically nurse the young from 12 to 16 months. But as we leave our rhinos behind, we're going to approach two large areas. Here we also have a large population of deer and antelopes, but because we have a large herd, sometimes they're grazing all the way in the back, and you may see some all the way in the back. Again, sometimes they're difficult to spot because this is such a large area, but the deer that you see back over there, they're known as a Sandbar Deer. They're the largest deer in southern Asia. Males can reach a height of 5 feet, weigh over 650 pounds. Hopefully when we circle around, we'll be able to see them, some of the herd up closer. But if you see a spotted deer sometimes in this area, it's known as a Formosa Sika deer. They're native to the island of Taiwan, formerly known as Formosa. And habitat loss as well as poaching have reduced the number to critical levels. But again, because of breeding programs here at this zoo as well as other zoos, they've been reintroduced into Asia. Okay, so as we circle around, you're going to see the first you're going to see directly below you by the fence line is the nilgai antelope. Look at at the hooves of the nilgai antelope, they look like they're wearing tube socks. The chocolate colored one, these are the Sandbar Deer I was describing earlier, the largest deer in southern Asia. Again, males can reach a height of 5 feet, 650 pounds. Now, as far as the nilgai antelope, again, look at their hooves, they look like they're wearing tube socks. Nilgai means blue bull in the Hindi language, and that's because the males have a bluish-grayish tint to their coat. The herd that you see there, they're all females. And at less than 40 pounds, China's tufted deer may be difficult to spot, but you guys are in for a treat because I see one, I see actually two towards the right. Those are China's tufted deer. Folks, as you approach these deer, bear in mind that what you're seeing is a full-grown animal. Outside of zoos in China, they're rarely seen, so having them here at the Bronx Zoo is a great joy. They're one of my favorite animals here. But a fun fact also about the tufted deer, it makes a call that sounds very similar to the bark of a small dog, so they sound really cute. But as we circle around, we're nearing the highest elevation point of our tour. At 35 feet, we're crossing the Bronx River for the second time. But you may want to get your cameras ready because at this elevation provides a spectacular, breathtaking view of the Bronx River. But as we cross the Bronx River, I want everyone to look straight ahead. If you see a bridge, that's where we started the tour. And the Bronx River provides a habitat for migrating birds, fish, ducks, and turtles. If you look below, maybe you can see some fish, maybe some turtles. And this next rocky environment is a perfect habitat for our next two species of goats. If you see a large goat with horns in the shape of a corkscrew, these are Amarkors, the national animal of Pakistan. You're going to see two males directly below you. Their names are Billy and the other one is Vanilli. No, their names aren't Billy Vanilli. And you're going to see some closer. Take pictures, folks, because these animals are amazing climbers and jumpers. From a standing position, they can jump over 6 feet straight up in the air. So if you wanted to study these animals in the wild or take pictures, you'd have to do some serious rock climbing. There's one directly below you. I want everyone to look towards the front of the monorail car where I am. I want everyone to look straight ahead where I am. You're going to see a tree in the shape of a V. We've saved the best for last. Once you pass that tree, look directly below you. Look for someone who's red, furry, really, really cute. My main man, our red panda Linus. My man, Linus, what's going on, buddy? Never get tired of this part of the tour. My main man, Linus. Interestingly enough, the red panda is called Hun Ho in Nepal, which translates to fireflies. It's an appropriate name. If you folks want to see more of our red pandas, just a short walk from the Wild Asia monorail, visit the Himalayan highlands. There you can also see Asia's big cat, the snow leopard. So folks, as we leave our red pandas behind, I should say, Linus, we're nearing the end of our tour. And if you folks haven't done so already, I highly recommend that once you exit the Wild Asia monorail, on your left, you're going to see Jungle World. If you have not done Jungle World, please do not leave the Bronx Zoo without checking that out. And if you're planning on staying here till closing time, at 3 o'clock, we'll be feeding our sea lions, and at 3:30 we'll be feeding our penguins. So again, if you're planning on staying here till closing time, 3 o'clock, sea lions, 3:30 penguins, check your Bronx Zoo map for the location of that. So folks, will be slowing down, and we'll be making a brief stop. There's a monorail car directly in front of this one, and as soon as that one leaves the platform, we will reach our final stop. So please remain seated.
Taking pictures when you're watching that. Hey, my mustache.
folks will be making a brief stop. Please remain seated. But as we wait, folks, you're invited to a special event, a thrilling and scary nighttime experience. A rare dinosaur egg found intact after 66 million years is set to hatch this Halloween at the Bronx Zoo. Now, you may be wondering, what could possibly go wrong? Dinosaurs in Darkness is recommended for ages 13 plus. To learn more and reserve your tickets, visit bronxzoo.com. Members actually receive a special discount. And again, that will be held from October 7th and runs every Friday.